Ah, the sizzle of McDonald's sausage. It's enough to make you crave your favorite breakfasts. Enough to head over to McDonald's. Enough to make you really wish this commercial were scratch and sniff.
And if you're a sausage person, now get 2 satisfyingly savory sausage McGriddles, sausage biscuits, or sausage burritos for just $3.33. Or mix and match. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
In a fast-paced world, every day brings new challenges and new opportunities. At Strayer University, we know a thing or two about getting and staying ahead of change. For over 130 years, we've been providing students like you with innovative tools and customized support, so you can find your way forward and always keep striving. Visit strayer.edu to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
Listen, I was searching for a joke, all right?
Yeah, well, let me tell you something.
We found one.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, good job there, Stevie Wonder. You found it.
And now, Cheese Wits.
Good day.
What you eating?
Prosciutto
Oh,
and
fancy.
and some cheese. Well, it is Super Bowl Sunday. It's time for fancy food.
That's true.
And prosciutto is on our list.
I was going to try to make a whole bunch of Taylor Swift inspired snacks. Just for the picture that I could post on social media to poke at the people who are upset about Taylor Swift in general. But then I decided that was too much work and I didn't do it.
Yeah, there's, I wish Chris was here.
Where is he? I was just texting with him 20 minutes ago.
I find these. Hold on, let me turn this down. My hearing of me is too loud.
And there's Chris just in time.
Nice.
Huh? Huh?
I find these people ridiculous who post stuff like, Gutfield surpasses late night ratings for the first time, beats Colbert, and new comedians are now Fox News people. They look for these wins in every stupid fucking thing. Like, what's the win there? Gutfield. Do you know who Gutfield is, Jess?
No. I have no idea what you're even talking about.
So Chris knows who Gutfield is. Gutfield.
Absolutely.
So Gutfield is a commentator on Fox News, sort of funny, but kind of a racist kind of ideologue.
Oh, nothing like a funny racist. Cool.
Yeah, who does like a late night show on Fox News.
Okay.
And he is somewhat amusing. And he's not entirely racist. He's subtly racist. But so his ratings last week were higher than Colbert's. I think actually they were higher than all the other late night hosts. And there's a big post about it. And they put it under some fake news, USA Network News Organization, something. Gutfield, big winner. Yay, yay. And I had to respond. I'm sorry.
I don't think you're sorry.
He's been on for like 3 years. So I had to put 1-150. So 1 win, 150 losses. I don't know, but people love this shit. They love posting whenever there's a win on the extreme side of anything. It's like the concert. It's like that concert we were talking about.
The Kid Rock.
I don't even know what they were comparing it because I didn't care to delve into it. I got to tell you what, I ate a pepperoni. My throat is on fire from the pepperoni. It was a thick Bridgestone pepperoni. I should have not eaten the pepperoni and just stayed with the prosciutto. Oh, damn. I'm going to have to get some throat coat.
There's so much happening here right now.
I'll give you some throat coat, Wally.
I'm sure you will. Man, I'm glad we don't live close together.
Yeah, that's terrible because I'd be fucking you all the time.
I would be knocking at my door all hours of the night.
Good Lord have mercy. You don't want to be here right now. I had a tuna sandwich from Subway, and my fingers smell like I just fucked Morris the cat.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
terrible.
You know what?
Yeah.
Listen, when you get tuna anywhere else, it doesn't smell that. It smells, it's not a horrendous. For sure, Chris, Subway tuna fish smells fucking like they took it out of the trash can.
It does.
There has never been a time in my life that I have wanted to order tuna fish from a place that has it sitting out all day.
No.
I mean, to be fair, it's reasonably cold.
It's reasonably cold.
It's reasonably cold. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from that. I'm married to cold tuna, so I understand.
Wow.
Good God. Good God.
Wow.
Not true. Not true. I was searching for a joke. I let it fly.
You know who we should have on the show next week?
Yeah, my wife.
Your wife.
Yeah,
Jody, make this your official invitation.
Listen, my wife would spend an hour just hammering me with inside personal shit.
I see nothing wrong with this plan.
I see nothing wrong with that as well. And we can actually make it like You Bet Your Life, Wally. So that if Jody somehow says cold tuna, the chicken drops down and gives her $100.
Oh, God. Listen, I was searching for a joke. All right.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something.
We found one.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, good job there, Stevie Wonder. You found it.
I have a distinct feeling that today's show is started out so much better than it's gonna end.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's totally possible. I could be asleep. I could be masturbating. I could be smelling my fingers, thinking I'm with the ladies of the night. Who knows what's going to happen next?
It is. Oh, suddenly I'm in Scandinavia, smoking pot and in the red light district.
I was like, oh my God, I'm going to turn the red light outside of my door on.
Look, and I'm in Denmark all of a sudden. How fantastic.
Look at this.
Copenhagen smells terrific.
And if you haven't had Denmark tuna, you've never had anything in your life. Okay.
So I think the problem with Subway tuna, just in a serious note, God damn, my thing is too loud. Hold on, my volume is too loud.
Yeah, my thing is too loud too.
My thing is perfect.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
Her perfect thing.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So I think Subway tuna is so nasty because I think they don't even use like light tuna. They use darkest tuna they can get. It's the scraps they pick up off the floor.
Yeah, it's the stuff that shrimp shits out.
You got it. It's not like they're not buying Bumblebee chunk white.
No, if you were, you'd be paying $18 for a sandwich if you were.
They're not even buying chunk light. They're just buying Bumblebee chunk.
Think about that. Think about that. You've got the chunk tuna there, so it's a lower price. And go to Burger King. How the fuck can they give you 50 nuggets for $4.99? That is not chicken.
No, sir.
No, hell no, it's not.
Okay.
You are correct.
That is not.
Put chicken nuggets with quotes around the chicken. I mean, my God.
To be said, and by the way, I think we've said this before. KFC chicken nugget tender things are pretty damn good.
Oh, absolutely. Those things are great. Those things are great. They're better than the ones at Chick-fil-A. The ones at Chick-fil-A, I can get a 5-pack and I will shit like a fucking howitzer gun.
They could have used you in World War II.
They could have. Give
him some nuggets. Give him some nuggets and get him ass
somebody.
up.
Where's Hitler? Where's Hitler? He's over there. All right, Roth, eat your first nugget. Put a little bit of Chick-fil-A sauce on it, and the war would have ended differently. Would have been a whole thing.
Would have been successful.
From those World War II Chick-fil-A franchises.
It's so weird. Nobody actually knows this until now, but the code name for my asshole, Ava Braun. Nobody knew that until now.
Breaking news.
Breaking news all over the place over here. Breaking news. Yeah. So Chris, I was happy to see no post from you this week that said I'm dying.
No, I just kept it to myself. It was the you know how I had that bad cold last week on Sunday?
Yep,
Yes.
the man cold.
Yeah. So I
Oh.
left town on Monday and I still had the cold when I was on the airplane. And by the time I got to Houston, I really not what it was Chicago. I really felt like shit.
Houston.
And then Chicago to Birmingham, I went and I got some Mucinex and I was drinking Mucinex like it was fucking soda.
It is a mistake.
And by Wednesday, I was fine. Absolutely fine. And I got a little touch of it when I got back from Houston, because I went Birmingham, Houston to here, and I had a little touch of it leaving the airport, but I've been fine, really.
And so I was telling my dad about flu B.
Flu B, yes, that's what JT has, flu B.
And he was feeling ill. And he calls me the next day and says, guess what I've got? Not flu B, flu A. Yeah, I've got flu A. So the flu thing, though, going around, people be cautious. And anybody who was on the flight last week
with
into
Chris
Houston with Chris, you may want to get tested.
Oh, please, they've got
I
syphilis. They've got syphilis. There's no flu.
It's not just they're not just a carrier of people, they're a carrier of infectious diseases.
Always
Jesus
have
Christ,
been.
Chris.
They don't even
How
charge
the
you
fuck is
extra.
that possible? Everybody on the flight got pink eye. How the fuck did that happen? What a weird thing.
What happens when you don't wash your hands after a big shit?
That is. You know what? Maybe I just farted on somebody's fucking neck pillow and it spread around. Who knows?
Hey,
nobody knows.
When you fly, Chris, I haven't flown in probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
When you fly, because you fly quite often.
Yeah.
Do you see any of these Karens that I see on the facial page? These
I have not seen
crazy
one.
people.
I have not seen one. The only time I ever saw anything odd on a flight, other than a kicking and screaming child who I wanted to slice in half, the only thing weird, some girl, who was I dating then? Sarah. Me and this girl, Sarah, go to Vegas. And we're coming back from Vegas, and we're in like the third row of the plane. And some guy up front is in like row 5 or 6 is getting loud. And you hear him just getting louder and louder. And all of a sudden, in the front of the plane, there are 2 guys of Arab descent, both with turbans on, that stand up and start looking at the back of the plane. And I looked at Sarah and I'm like, oh, this is how it's going to end, huh? This is it, huh? This is it. And that was it. That was the only thing that happened ever. And they sat back down. Everything was fine.
Were they just? You think that there was a planned hijacking and they called it off?
No, I think there was a Karen back there, and the our friends from Arabia, or I don't know, somewhere there. They were just trying to look and see what was happening.
The genie was out of the bottle.
That's, you know what? That is absolutely correct. Maybe they got offended by seeing Barbara Eden's navel. Who knows?
Oh Lord, that Barbara Eden, some kind of girl.
That Barbara Eden, that Bonnie Rubble, what an actor.
That Bonnie Rubble, that is. I'm telling you, that's one of the best lines in movie history.
It is.
That Bonnie Rubble, what an actor. It is such a great. I was watching today. I was watching old movies, and on I forget what the fuck what is it called? Old Reels or Wally TV or something like that. And I was watching I just lost it now because I was Tolliver. When I say Tolliver, what do you think of? Charlie Chan. So I was watching Charlie Chan. How fucking racist was that show with those movies? And do you know how many of them there are? There are hundreds of Charlie Chan little shorts and movies. And I
got to tell you, first of all, you shouldn't call them little shorts, number one. They don't like that. All right. And number 2, my favorite is Charlie Chan and the Chocolate Factory. That's the best one.
Yeah,
there is a new Charlie Chan in the Chocolate Factory.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Jackie Chan is in that. I think
that's it.
It's pretty good. I was what there are two main Charlie Chans. One is a guy named Tolliver, and he's not the good Charlie Chan. The other Charlie Chan is better. But man, the pidgin English they speak in those shows and crap, I just don't understand how that shit even made it onto a screen anywhere. People loved it. They ate it up.
Because nobody pointed out to them how insulting it was.
Yeah, I mean, you got a whole country that loved Amos and Andy and Mr. Step and Fetch It too.
Mhm.
You know, so you got to remember that.
It's just it's crazy when I watch this stuff, but I must admit, I laugh at the jokes because
Well,
the
you have
jokes are
to.
so funny.
Could you tell us one of the jokes, Wally?
No, I couldn't tell you one of the jokes.
That's a shame because I would like to hear you go. Oh, it's okay. Did you hear the one about the? I would love to hear that. I think that would be great, Wally.
No, I can't do. I can't even do the number one son routine. So here's the funny thing about Charlie Chan. Number one son was actually an Asian actor. His dad was a white guy, with some sort of makeup to make him look Asian. And then I don't know how they did his eyes, a scotch tape and something. But the white guy who played the main character and the number one son and all the rest of the kids were Asian. I don't understand. I guess they couldn't find an old fat an old fat Asian guy to play Charlie Chan. But I still laugh.
Kim Jong-il was not available. I don't believe.
The whole family would be in on it. It would be all there. I've been watching old movies today. I've not watched Super Bowl. Are you guys watching Super Bowl at all?
I'll probably turn it on just to see the commercials. I don't care about the game.
Here's the thing, Wally. Now, I don't know whether you know this or not. I think Jess has an indication, but I have what is known as a gambling problem. So I wasn't sure if you knew or not, but I must be in 14 football pools, and I'm going to sit there and stare at them all. And out of the 14, 13 of them, I'm pretty sure I have numbers like 8 and 2. I got one that's like a 7 and 3. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that could be something, maybe. But yeah, like 8 and 2, or I think I've got one that's 5 and 5. It's like, what the fuck do you do with this? Crumple up the goddamn paper?
Yeah, 5 and 5. Forget that one.
Oh yeah,
that's going nowhere.
35,
35, maybe.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, absolutely, in the ass without lube. I mean, it's yeah.
So I used to do a lot of the FanDuel DraftKings stuff, and I haven't done it in months now. And I got to tell you that the thing that did to me was make me not care about sports so much as I was watching my numbers, see who caught this many passes. I wasn't watching a full football game,
and I don't understand sports betting, so I've never gotten into it. When I was working for the Redskins, we couldn't take part in any of that sort of shit, so I just never bothered. And with it all being legal now, I'm still not bothering. I don't need another vice. I mean, I've already got gambling and pussy. I don't know. I can't take anything else.
How's the pussy going? Pretty good.
Oh, pretty good. The hardware store is outside milking the cows right now.
Nice.
The hardware store?
Well, yeah, Wally's got the cold tuna, and I've got the hardware store. Because some days she is dumber than a box of nails. It happens.
I want to reiterate. I was going for the laugh. I was going for the giggle.
Well, usually
you goddamn got one from a couple of us.
Usually Chris refers to her as the War Department, so.
Yeah, and that's short for the Department of War and Nuclear Energy. But yeah, now it's a little bit different now. It's the hardware store. She said something that I can't even remember how goddamn dumb it was, but I turned my head in this really slow fashion and looked at her. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? So yeah, so now it's gone to dumber than a box of screws. So the hardware store.
Boy, I miss being with men.
Look, no. I love her dearly. I would do anything in the world for her, but I got to tell you, sometimes it's a little, cold tuna.
She is a farmer's daughter.
She is.
You weren't thinking you're getting Ivy League, right?
Wow. Girls got more of an education than me.
Wow.
She got a fucking 4-year degree.
You got it. Yeah, it's more than I've got too.
4-year degree. I get a third degree burn. She gets a 4-year degree from a school.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah.
We're sitting at dinner the other night.
Yeah.
Like my nice transition. We're sitting at
Mhm.
dinner the other night. The granddaughter who's 10, grandson who's 16, who I've been doing. Oh boy, student driver. I've got a little sign in the back of my car right now that says student driver because I'm giving him, driving lessons, or I'm
Mhm.
driving with him while he's giving me lessons on shutting my mouth and being calm. You just have to be. My granddaughter says, "Papa, Dad is nuts." I said, "Why?" And Dad's sitting right there. You know what he's doing? Well, I don't know. He's saving seeds from cucumbers and peppers and and things because he said the world's going to end and he wants to have seeds so he can plant and start when we need to and there's no more food at grocery stores. I get the distinct feeling my son spends way too much time at home on the Facebook.
Mhm. What are his thoughts on Taylor Swift's role in the Super Bowl today?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm waiting for her to tell me who to vote for
Same.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hoping. I mean, look at me. Fingers crossed. She says Joe Biden. She says go ahead and vote for him. It's okay. Yeah. This fucking just it's so ridiculous.
Now, this whole Joe Biden thing, I mean, that's more of your fucking left-wing bullshit right there. Because anybody with common sense can totally see that the next president of the United States needs to be Richard Pryor as none of the above. Because
So
Jesus
good.
Christ, the fucking red man, good God. And then fucking Biden doesn't even know what fucking city he's in, for Christ's sakes. I mean, neither one is a viable choice. I don't know what the fuck this country's going to do. Succumb to Putin? I assume that's it. Just start taking it up the ass. We're the
Listen, brother,
laughing stock of the world.
You may be absolutely right because one guy is a little too absent-minded. He's more absent-minded than me, and I know I'm getting there. And the other guy's just fucking off his rocker.
Can we just get Kiefer Sutherland? Because I a couple of weeks ago finished watching Designated Survivor, and I know I'm a couple of years behind on that whole series.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
That's okay. We know you're in Central Time. That happens.
I'm in Central Time. But here was my only problem because I mean, sure, in your first 30 days as president, probably the world is almost coming to an end every single day. That's
Yes.
believable. But really, they just drive around DC and get places on time? Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, couldn't buy it. But other than that, I really think Kiefer did a fine job as president. So
you've got that, but and listen, I'm as red as they fucking come. Okay, I mean, I'm not a goddamn knockdown fucking racist, burn the cross red guy, but I'm a red guy. And you know who I think the best celebrity president has been? Martin Sheen. I would vote for fucking Martin Sheen tomorrow. Okay,
I would absolutely vote for Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Jed Bartlett was the fucking president's president right there.
But could it be the version of Martin Sheen who was in Grace and Frankie?
Look, I'd vote for that version of Martin Sheen as well.
Well, could it be the version of Martin Sheen who's in the Deer Hunter or what? Not the Deer Hunter. Was it the Deer Hunter? What was the war movie he was in?
Oh fuck, I don't remember.
With Marlon Brando. You know.
Oh, was it Apocalypse?
Yeah. No. My fucking. Oh, here we go. All right, go ahead. Sorry,
Apocalypse
Chris.
Now.
There you go. He gets nuts. I agree with you, Chris. I would vote for him too.
Absolutely.
I think he was a fabulous president. Hey, is Kiefer Sutherland super short? I read somewhere that he's super short and an asshole.
Well, it must be true.
Well, I've never stood next to Kiefer Sutherland, so.
Well, I don't, because I read it doesn't mean anything. I didn't research.
Google tells me he's 5'9". That's not super short.
Now someone wrote he was. I heard someone. It was another actor saying that they would never work with him because he's just an asshole. and they had to stand on he had to stand on a box, or they had to stand in a shell or something because he's so small.
Wow.
I'm looking it up right now. Kiefer Sutherland.
I just told you I looked it up and he's 5'9".
Oh, he's tall then.
Right. He's not that short.
No, I guess the other guy he was with was like 6'4".
Oh.
That makes that guy very tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to know who's an asshole in Hollywood.
What the fuck is this? Going through the search history, because Google aggregates along what people are searching for. The top one for me is how tall is Kiefer Sutherland's mom?
How do you find out what your top searches are, Chris?
They just come up. At least it does in the
it's
app.
not
on the
his
phone.
necessarily top searches. It's the top searches related to the words you're typing.
Really?
Right.
If people want to know how tall Kiefer Sutherland's mom is?
Apparently.
Who is
Uh-huh.
Is she somebody famous?
Somebody named Shirley Douglas,
Uh,
and
Well-
she is 5'2".
huh. Because his Donald Sutherland, he's probably he's not dead yet, huh? Donald Sutherland, he must be almost dead.
No,
I mean,
I just heard his
he's-
voice in something the other day.
Yeah, he's 88 years old, and frankly,
Orange
after seeing his pecker in Animal House, I don't want to see him anymore.
He do the Simply Orange commercials.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
Donald
think so.
Sutherland, yeah, I think he does the Simply Orange commercials. He has a really soothing kind of voice.
Very distinctive.
Yeah, it is.
It's one
it's
of
a
those
very-
voices where I hear it and I'll stop what I'm doing and go, "That Donald Sutherland? Yep, sure is."
He does have one of those soothing, calming sort of voices, and then it warms me. He's like the new Orson Welles, or took over where Orson Welles left off, because he used to be the voice of a lot of shit too.
Mm.
Him and another guy. Who's the other guy? The guy who did Paper Chase, John Houseman.
Oh, I
Oh
remember
my
his
God.
commercials.
Paper Chase was one of my favorite movies back in the day.
What was the commercial John Houseman did?
I think
One of those financial companies.
yeah, he did a financial
Yeah.
company. This is some sort of investments or something. He
Yeah.
did a couple other things too.
And
They
people
earned
talk.
it.
Yes,
Yes, we listen.
Yeah, who is that? Who was that? They listen. Jess is on it. Jess is on it. My computer's rather slow today because I had to do an update. I don't know why. The hard drive is too
Smith
big
Barney.
on my computer. Oh, Smith Barney.
Smith Barney. They earn it.
They earned it. I was watching. Do you know
When
the movie?
Smith Body talks, people listen.
Is that real? Is that their thing?
Fuck if I know.
I don't remember. I do not remember. Yeah. So we have football snacks. My everybody's up here. All the football snacks we're having. Jody just made deviled eggs, which I like. I really like deviled eggs, and she makes very. I'll tell you what, my wife is not a very good cook. No, she isn't. She'll tell you
Jody!
she's not a very good cook.
How does she do with tuna?
Well, here are the things my wife does really well with. Tuna. She makes a mean tuna salad. She makes a meat. She can poach a fucking egg like nobody's business. She is a great egg poacher and great at scrambled eggs. And it's hard to make both of those things. She's terrible at making a good burger for the most part. It's usually very dry and well overdone. I like a really red, juicy, dripping burger. Hers are very New England boiled dinner style. Brown on the outside, brown on the inside. Hockey puck style. She makes really good homemade mac and cheese, which is from scratch. And she makes really good blueberry buckle. She has a couple other things too. She does all right. But other than that, forget about it. Not a lot in the wheelhouse. She does.
But the deviled eggs are okay?
Her legs are fantastic.
I didn't ask about her legs. God damn it. I said the deviled eggs.
Oh, I thought you
That
said
was
legs.
close. You good job, you old fuck. No.
I thought you said legs. I heard legs. You said eggs. Yes. Yeah, she makes good. Yeah. Yes, her deviled legs are fantastic. She made a deal with the devil. Her legs are good.
Yeah, she got
Yeah,
them deviled legs, and I can't stop looking at them deviled legs over there. Yeah, pretty deviled legs. Oh my
she
lord!
sold herself to the devil. Yeah, no, she does. She makes suddenly Chris and I both sort of sound a little like Sean Connery. Her legs.
Yes, she's legs. She's
Legs.
deviled legs.
Good
There's
legs.
legs.
Yes, she makes very good and she makes good egg salad, which I happen to like egg salad too.
Oh god, I hate egg salad. It always smells like fuck.
Really? You don't like it? Smells a lot like your ass, maybe?
No, it actually it does. When I get my weird stomach acid thing, and if the way that it smells, Wally. Now, if you put my asshole next to a plate of an egg salad sandwich, and you broke open the egg salad sandwich, I farted at the same time, you could not tell the difference between the two.
Maybe
of
there's
them.
a game show. Maybe there's we'll blindfold people and egg salad or Chris's anus.
Guess that shit.
Yeah, guess that. Guess that gaseous smell. Egg salad, Chris's ass. Yeah, no, yeah, I once in a while have it, but that's the kind of fart that really you're going to be sick. It's not good. When you fart the egg fart,
or if you burp the
times
egg
coming.
burp. The egg burp will do it too, and you.
The egg burp. Shit. The egg burp is a sign of food poisoning. Yeah, do you know that the egg burp is a sign of food poisoning?
No, you say I didn't know that because I get that egg burp once every few weeks. Well, not since I've started the acid pills, but
that's usually a sign of you've eaten something that was somewhat contaminated
from Subway.
So now you right, Subway or cross contamination food or man, that is one of the primary reasons I do not eat fucking fast food anymore. My body can't handle all that cross contamination and that shit's been left out on the shelf for fucking 3 hours because the back. If you've ever worked, have you ever worked in a fast food place?
Yeah.
I worked in a pizza place.
Bowling alley. It's close.
Yeah, well, there. So when you work, and I worked at a Burger King, and I worked at a Friendly's as a kid. But in the Burger King, it's fucking 900 degrees in the back where they cook food. And they've just got fucking burgers stacked up, waiting to go on the flame broiler. And they'll sit there 2-3 hours and they just bring out the new shit and put it on top of the old shit. And late at night, you're getting down to the shit that's been sitting there for 6 or 7 hours.
Yep.
It ain't no good no more. It's so bad, all of the blood from the meat is gone. It's pretty much freeze dried, it's just dried out beef. They throw it on the flame broiler. You're gonna get sick. And nobody wore gloves back then. I don't know if they wear gloves now, but you'd pick up one of them fucking gross red burgers and throw it on the thing, then go over and pick you up a handful of fries and throw it into a bucket. You're like, oh, pre-ketchup fries.
I mean, I feel like they're still doing that now. They're wearing gloves, but are they changing the gloves between touching the? They're not. So it doesn't really. It's kind of the same as those people who wore like gloves and masks during COVID, and then like touched the mask with their hands and then touched their hands to the produce and the gross. Like it doesn't do any good if you're going to be stupid about it.
I've said it before. My favorite is watching people with the gloves on pick up grapes at the grocery and try one.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
You're all masked up. You got a pair of gloves on, and I still see people with gloves on and masks.
But also, they're touching the shopping cart that's been touched by every human in 100-mile radius, and then touching the produce. And
then they get a rub of the eye, and like Chris would say, "I don't understand where did I get this pink eye from." Oh, geez, I don't know. Maybe it was that leaking diaper that lady just took the kid out of the cart and you put it right in there and put your hands right where the leaking diaper was and then rubbed your eye. Maybe that has something to do with it. People are stupid in that way. They're just
that is true.
You know what else is bad? So we've had particularly warm weather here. in the 50s. And I don't know what it is, but warm weather brings idiots out.
That it does.
Yep.
When you're in a cold weather climate, all of a sudden everybody goes, "Whoa, it's going to be above 30. Quick, let's run to Walmart." And they get out there, and it's the fucking it's the people who don't know how to drive, and they're not courteous, and they're assholes, and they're dickheads, and they're the people with the sideways cart in the aisle. They're the people who block off intersections. They're the people who are flipping you off. Like, get out of my way! I gotta get that last plastic container. They might run out. They're just so the people have been out this weekend, out in full force since Friday and Saturday. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous how the traffic was.
I did my grocery shopping this morning, as I do on Sundays. And
see anybody?
You're
no.
such a person of ritual.
I am. It's actually something I am trying to work on not being, but I am. And so I was surprised, like I was bracing myself because it is Super Bowl Sunday and, people don't plan ahead. And it's always terrible when your shopping day is a Sunday and there's some sort of event or holiday coming up that everybody like floods the grocery store for. And I'm like, I'm not here for that. I'm just here to get my regular weekly food. So I was prepared for it to be a shit show. And it was busier than it normally is when I go. And they did only have self-checkout lanes open and only half of them when I got there. So there was a line halfway around the store to check out. But people were actually being nice. I thought I had time jumped or something because
what is this, 1974?
People were being now out in the parking lot was a fucking shit show. Like just when I was trying to pull in, some guy as I'm coming down the aisle where I'm going to park just backs right out. He's looking in the opposite direction. He didn't look in both directions.
Of course.
Just in the one direction. And so I stopped and I'm like this close to his car. And I'm just looking, waiting for him to notice that I'm there. And he finally looks over at me and then gives me a dirty look. Like, what the fuck are you doing, lady?
Gives you the stink eye.
The fuck? Get out of my way. But people are actually being really nice in the store. Like if they stepped in front of you without looking, they would actually stop and go, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And get out of the way. And
that's good.
Not be dicks.
It's good. I've noticed that people have started to adopt my park your cart in the middle of the aisle like you should, so that people can go walk on either side of you and have access to the shelves. I was trying to get to the shrimp, the frozen shrimp ring at the store. And there's this fucking woman and guy, cart, man, woman, 4 refrigerator doors, 4 freezer doors you couldn't access because they had their cart blocking 1.5 because they're parked instead of parking in the middle of the aisle. So you can just stand there, look at it and go, "Oh yeah, there's what I need. Let me walk over to that door, open it up, take my shit out."
I feel like you must have really wide aisles at your supermarket.
You do have pretty wide aisles. Yeah.
In the normal grocery aisles at my store, if somebody's cart is in the middle, you can't get a cart around them on either side.
Oh yeah, no, ours you can for sure.
These aisles are wide enough for 2 carts to pass each other, so you stop on one side or the other. But it's the people who stop their cart and then stand next to it that are the fucking assholes.
Yeah. No, we can do it. Or I will park if the aisle isn't wide enough, I will park at the end of the aisle, sort of near one of the middle of the main drag way. They'll always have those fucking. That's really the problem with the stores.
The displays.
Fucking hell.
Mm-hmm.
So every fucking aisle, do you have to have a fucking box? A fucking box of cracker display in every aisle?
Yeah, they get money for those.
In fact, they're charged. They sure as shit. They must be charging. People must be paying good money. Nabisco is spending a lot of money to have their fucking cookies and crackers.
They sure are.
In all these aisles. Fucking nuts. You try to go down an aisle, you can't get anywhere because there's another display of some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And if I got to see another rack of kids' toys hanging always near like the Nestle's Quick or something like that. Was Chris gone?
No, I think
I went away for a minute.
Oh, I thought I saw a little flash. They've always got toys on those ones that hang on the actual shelves. They hang down. They have little fucking, I don't know. They have the men they have the parachute guys and shit like that hanging where the kids will look. So you're in the cereal aisle and fucking all you can hear is kids going, I want that, I want that, I want, and parents who have no fucking idea how to parent. It's just no idea. And so the parents trying to yell louder than the kid. Then the kid tries to yell louder than the parent. And then you're finally, I so want to say, fucking get control of your kid, will you?
You know what? Last week when I was shopping, which the week before, I told you guys about the shit show when I had tried to get my groceries delivered and they canceled it an hour and a half after it was supposed to be here. And they offered me a big discount if I rescheduled for the next day, which I did. And they dropped them off 5 minutes before I got home from a thing that I was doing, and which was fine. But they left off half of my groceries and gave me half of somebody else's.
Oh, now that's good. Were they more expensive?
No. Instead of whole wheat pasta, I got ramen noodles. Instead of bottled water, I got some sparkling water that I've never heard of, but which actually turns out to be pretty good because when I called them and was like, hey, you left off half my stuff and gave me somebody else's, get a hold of the guy and tell him to come back. He just was here 5 minutes ago. They couldn't get hold of anybody. So they were like, you can just keep that stuff and we'll give you a refund for what you didn't get and we'll give you a credit. So I got like ramen noodles, sparkling water, and Gatorade instead of whole wheat pasta and a jar of sauce and bottled water and some other stuff that was missing. So the last 2 weeks I've gone to the store to do my shopping myself because really it's the only way I'm going to get all the stuff that I need, except that they don't have anybody working to check people out. So you're basically fucked either way. But last week, as I'm going through the produce, like the produce and deli area, this woman who works there comes up to a guy who works there and goes, she yells to him, first of all, across the department. And she stomps up to him and she goes, just so you know, the things that you told my staff not to do, I've done. And he stayed very calm and he was going, well, first of all, blah, blah, blah. Like I couldn't even hear what he said. And she was going, you have no authority, blah, 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 blah. So I'm stopped staring, wondering if I should get my phone out and record something because could this be a viral moment? But I didn't do that. I just stared. And I heard him go, okay, first of all, calm down. And I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go. No person in the history of calming down has ever calmed down when being told to calm down. So I'm going to leave. But I just thought maybe y'all could take that away from in front of the customers. Maybe you could take that somewhere else.
So was he a manager type, you think?
It looked like, I don't think so. Cause he had like a baseball cap on. Like, I think he was just loading produce. Maybe he was a manager in produce. I don't know.
Right.
But she was apparently a manager in her, whatever department she was in.
The Department of Bitches department?
Maybe. Because she has a staff, but I don't work for her. So
no staff. Here's something that comes to mind. Oh boy. Here I go. Okay. So a radio station here, one of those community radio stations located in the 90s, 89. I think it's 90.9 or something. It's before the commercial radio station.
Right.
So it's a community-based radio station. Must be located at a college. I think it's WMPG. And it's one of those deals where you come in and anybody can go on the air for the most part. They have 2 hours of ancient country music and then an hour of this and 2 hours of community French or something. So it's very eclectic and it's exactly what a community below the 90s should be. Below 91.9, that's exactly what these stations should be. Mm-hmm. Community oriented. Oh, that's the word, by the way. Orientated. Remember, I couldn't think of a word a few weeks ago?
Oh, yeah, the word that's not a word.
Yeah. Right, orientated. Not a fucking word, it's oriented. So they interviewed this guy.
We can conversate about that later.
Yes, let's conversate. So they interviewed the guy who's the de facto program director or operator of this community station. And they said, Well, it's so nice to see all this, this eclectic, and they did not use, multisyllabic words in this article, but this eclectic programming, and to hear all this different kind of genres of music, and it representing the communities. And this sort of brings us to my head because of what you said about a store being underemployed. And this guy's response was, yeah, we don't want a bunch of 6-year-old white guys just doing the same thing. And then it infuriated me in my home, because and here's why. So why don't you change the word 60-year-old white guy to 20-year-old black guy, 30-year-old gay person, 40-year-old transgender?
Hold on.
Correct.
You know what? I don't want to listen to, a bunch of 30-year-old gays playing music. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't want to. So call me a racist, call me a homophobe if you want to, but that's not what I want to listen to on Portland Community Radio 90.1 FM.
Is that what it is? 90.1?
I don't know what the fuck it is. I have no idea.
But what makes that statement any more right than any of the rest of them? And here's
the fact that 60-year-old white men are controlling most of the radio stations.
Well, no,
but hold on. How maybe one of the 60-year-old white man's a queer? Who knows? Maybe it could be.
Could be.
But here's the point.
See?
So here's my problem with the statement. My statement: why is it okay to fucking denigrate somebody else in lieu of, and not another group?
I don't think that's denigration, though, because what he's saying is we don't want more of what everybody else already has.
I don't think he's saying that at all.
That's what he's saying.
There's a black or an urban station in Portland.
Sure,
there's a country station. There's a news station.
You think the country station and the news stations aren't run by 60-year-old white men?
Well, I know the urban station isn't.
Yeah, that's one.
The other ones, of course, they're corporately owned. That's not the point.
That's the point. That's what that means. That's not denigration if the fact is the majority of radio stations are run by 60-year-old white guys.
The guy who said it is a 60-year-old white guy.
Right. So he knows. He sees them all at the meetings of the general managers.
So if you look at the stats, minorities are not unhappy with their workplaces on a whole. A new survey, 80% of black people are not unhappy with their job places. It's the 80% of white broads who think that they know better than the black person who's in that job saying, I'm happy with it.
I would like to see your research.
My real point is, you know what? 6-year-old white guys show up for work.
Okay.
They show up.
Okay. And then
that's the problem. 20-year-old kids don't show up for work. That's why you see 60-year-old white guys and 60-year-old white women on the job, because they show up, they work, they do the job, but they also expect money, and they expect to be paid, and they expect insurance, and they expect the things that these jobs don't offer. That's why you see, people of age, not even just white people, black people too, people of age show up. People who they just do.
It's cute that you think 60-year-old white men are not the gatekeepers of everything.
I don't think they're the gatekeepers of everything.
Yeah, that's cute. Okay.
Why?
Because they are. Always have been.
Jess, I get outside.
Always have been.
How? We worked at a radio station that was not owned by a white guy. It was owned by an old white broad.
That she got in the divorce from a white guy.
Doesn't matter. She was.
You can always find exceptions if you want to nitpick. The world in general, or at least in this country, is dominated, operated, and gate kept by 60-year-old white men.
I don't think it's gate kept.
Well, that's easy to say.
I just don't think it don't.
As a member of the 60-year-old white man club. Chris, where's your popcorn emoji again?
When you listen to African American people talk, they see it differently than that, Jess. They just see it differently. They don't see it that way. Some do, for sure. They think Whitey is the evil guy. And a lot of white people think Whitey is the evil guy.
I didn't say Whitey was the evil guy. That's not what I said.
They don't see it that way, though. They see progress. I see progress. How do we not see progress?
Well, let me just give you an example, because I'm about to speak on a panel at Country Radio Seminar, and I might have brought this up before, about the fact that something like 8% or 12% of the music being played on country radio is performed by women. That's not because only 12% or 8% of the music being sent to country radio is performed by women.
Maybe 90% of it sucks.
No. You know how I know that's not true? Because
I don't.
Because the way that I program our country stations on our service, we have metrics. We don't rely on the ratings that radio stations use that allow two
Right.
people to decide what music is being played through the whole market. We have metrics that show what the listeners are doing when they hear a song. And I started adding more women to our biggest, most listened to country stations. And as I started doing that, more women ending up on our weekly country countdown, which is entirely determined by listener behavior. The more women I added to our mainstream country stations, the more women showed up on our countdown, because listeners were hitting the heart button saying they wanted to hear it more. They like that song. They want to hear it more. Our countdowns are 50% women. Radio's countdowns are maybe 1 or 2 women out of 40. That's how I know.
I don't think it's a good example.
That's how I know there's gatekeeping happening.
The metric only, that metric only applies to your listeners, not the overall general audience.
Yeah.
So if you only have 500,000 listeners, I don't know how many listeners you have. If you only have 3 million listeners, it only applies to not even 1%.
Okay, but the metrics that radio is using are like 2 people in Washington, D.C. got a people meter.
You got that right.
Both of those people got out of the car at the same time to go to their jobs, and therefore the song that was playing at that moment gets yanked off the station.
I don't know.
The music, it's not that the music sucks.
What if the two
program
people
directors are gatekeeping.
What if they're not gatekeeping if you're using the meters to make that judgment? Whoever's got the meters are making that judgment.
No, people who are afraid of their gut and afraid to program good music, those are the people that are gatekeeping and making that judgment. Because they're not even putting the women on the air in the first place.
I don't disagree with you in full, actually. I don't disagree that there are people who make these decisions, but the ratings tell it. I mean, it kind of does tell you the story.
What does it tell you?
When I was nobody's listening to your shit.
Okay, well, when I was programming WFRE, we were playing more women. We were playing women back to back, which nobody else is doing.
Playing women isn't bad,
and
is bad.
We had the biggest ratings by far that station ever had.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you wouldn't, Jess. I'm just saying I don't think that. I think that it's not about them gatekeeping as much as it's just bad practice. Just bad.
Gatekeeping is the bad practice.
Well, because
the number of program directors that I had who told me that, for example, we couldn't put a second woman in heavy rotation because there was already 1 woman out of 7.
They're idiots, right?
But the majority of the people that were my program directors had rules like that.
Well, so I was a program director for you.
Yeah.
I'm one of those white guys.
Yes. Wally, you are always going to be able to find the exception. That doesn't make you the norm. You're certainly not the norm. You had a whole staff full of women in an industry that constantly has been telling us for decades that the target audience doesn't want to hear us on the radio.
So this is true. And I do take some pride in that. But here's what people, even to the left of us, would say. You didn't have any blacks on the staff. You didn't have any Asians on the staff.
We did have a black guy on the staff.
We did have a black guy on the staff. They wouldn't know that, but we did.
No, they wouldn't.
You didn't have any. They wouldn't know that we had a differently abled person who we would have said back then was handicapped, right?
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't say we had a gay person on the staff. It's somebody is always going to fucking take fault at this shit. And I just don't know.
I just feel like the people who you think are taking fault are just trying to
I think they're trying to ignore what is going right and just pointing out
No,
what
they're
is
trying
going
to
wrong.
they're trying to improve on what's going wrong.
But why is it? It's not my job or your job to improve that.
Why not?
Right?
If I have the power and ability to give more space for people who have talent just
the only
because
way
they're
you could give more space, Jess, is to quit. That's the only way you can give more space. If you're better, then you should be doing the job.
No, I'm not talking about the job. I'm talking about I oversee the programming of 50 some odd country radio stations.
Right.
And therefore, I have the ability to put music in front of the listeners that is by people that are not just hillbilly white dudes. And then I let the listeners tell me what to do with that music. The listeners can listen to it and go, we hate that. And I say, okay, I'm going to take it off. Most of the time, though, because I feel like I have a pretty good ear and I have a pretty good gut when it comes to music, most of the time that doesn't happen.
So do you think it's an overcompensation by the people who listen?
No.
To say,
no, they don't
why
care.
wouldn't it be?
They want to
Why
hear good
couldn't it
music. They're listening to hear good music.
But why couldn't it be? Why couldn't they say, "Oh, we don't want to hear white guys on the station"?
Because that's
Why
what they're
couldn't they
fed
have
all
the
the time.
same- Why couldn't
That's
they
the
have
norm.
the same
That's
sort
the
of
norm.
thinking?
Because it's the norm.
We don't want to hear white guys?
The norm
that
is white
the-
guys. Do they not want to hear the norm? No, of course they want to hear the norm.
Well, not what you're saying. You're saying they
No,
want
you're
the
twisting
white
what I'm
guys
saying.
off. Huh?
You're twisting what I'm saying, which you tend to do a lot of you bring up these false equivalencies that just make me go, the fuck are you talking about?
What is false about what I just said?
What is false about what you just said? Say it again.
That maybe they don't want to, maybe they're going, maybe they're
Nobody
going
said
along
nobody
with-
because nobody said people don't want to hear white guys.
No, well, the guy I'm talking about said that.
People don't only want to hear white guys.
I agree with that 100%.
So going back to
Absolutely.
your original complaint, if
My
he
original
had just
complaint
said
is,
only,
why are we avoiding white guys?
I didn't
Because you
take it
wanna
that
make
way.
us-
I
not
took it
you,
as we don't want to
my
just
guy.
have a whole bunch of white guys doing this.
And
We want
I
to have a
agree.
representative sample of our community, which is not just 60-year-old white guys.
Have you been to Portland, Maine?
No, I have not.
Okay. It's a lot like, I don't know, maybe 85% white guys or white people, not white guys. It's though that is changing, and it's now maybe it's 80%. I mean, Maine is a very white state, so to say that in a very white state, it'd be like saying, I don't know, it'd be like being in fucking Alabama or some city in Alabama. I can't pick one, right? Alabama, and saying we don't want black people on the radio. Well, that's fucking ridiculous. Your population says you should
not
have
the
black
same.
people on the radio.
It's not the same.
How is it not? You want a representative of the community.
Because the way that I understood what you said, the dude said, was we don't just want this one thing.
That he said we don't want. Now what he said is we don't want just white guy. He didn't say I'm a white guy. I wouldn't be playing. What am I going to play? Fucking just Andy Williams songs.
He didn't say what?
He said we don't want just white 60-year-old white guys on the radio.
Right. We don't want
Why?
just 60-year-old white guys on the radio.
Why? White guys can't play black music?
Because
White
there
guys
are
can't
more
play-
than just 60-year-old white guys listening to the radio.
It's not about what they're. Can white guys not play black music?
Sure.
Or Asian music or
Sure,
whatever.
but
music.
can they
Jess, he's saying we don't want to employ them. That's what he's saying. He's
Oh,
not
I
saying
didn't- I
anything
didn't
about the
take that
music
at
they
all.
play.
I didn't
He's
take that
saying that
I didn't
only
get that at all.
a whatever person can play this kind of music.
Hey, did you know about the Harlem Cultural Festival that happened back in the 60s?
No.
I didn't either. And somebody recommended
Where
this
did it happen?
in Harlem.
No, in fucking Bethesda, Wally.
Who knows? We have a Greek festival here. We're not in Greece.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
Judas, fuck, they have a gay festival down the road. I'm not gay.
Yes,
You want
they
to keep
do.
going?
Oh my God.
But there's no place named gay. Go ahead.
Yes, there is.
There is?
Gay Missouri. Go ahead, Jess.
Okay.
For real?
No.
Somebody recommended that I watch the documentary called Summer of Soul. And it was about this Harlem Cultural Festival that happened it was like 67 to 69, but the biggest year was 1969. And they did this free show in a park in Harlem every Sunday at 3:00 in the afternoon. And
Nice.
so one of those actually was the same weekend as Woodstock. And of course, we all know about Woodstock, but there was all of this film about the Harlem Cultural Festival where like you had Gladys Knight and you had Sly and the Family Stone and all of these bands that came and played, and it was a free concert in the park for people. And there was all of this footage and nobody would air it. The people who recorded it ended up just putting it in a basement where it sat for 50 years until what's his name from Fallon? The musical director.
Quest.
Questlove. He produced this documentary, The Summer of Soul. Really good because it kind of takes you back into the feeling about Black people and Black music at the time. They did some interviews the day that the moon landing happened. They sent this white reporter down to the park to interview people at the Harlem Cultural Festival. And first of all, he looked terrified. And secondly, these people were going, all of that money they spend to put a man on the moon, what for? There's people starving in this country. Why aren't we feeding the people in our country? And they're showing interview clips of white people going, it's just great. We have a man on the moon. That's just amazing. And there's no other thing we should have been doing ever. And then the Black people are like, why aren't we feeding hungry people in our own community? And it was just, there was a whole bunch of culture and a look at the racism of the time. It's a really good documentary. I highly recommend it.
Wally,
What?
could you look at your messenger real quick?
Gay Georgia.
Hold on. What is it? Let's say. Did you do a search to find that?
You're goddamn right I did.
Well, what a place for a town to be named Gay in Georgia.
Gay Georgia.
Holy cow.
Zip code 000069.
I'm going to
That's
check.
good.
So, Jess, again, what weren't they airing? Were they not airing the video of what was going on?
Nobody, I mean, you've never heard of it. You came up in the music industry. I had never heard of it. They weren't putting it on the news. They weren't using footage. Like Woodstock, there is iconic video, and I don't know where it was shown in the 60s and the 70s, but there is iconic video that we're all familiar with from Woodstock. And there's none of that from this festival. Nobody even knew that it happened unless they were there.
Yeah, I just looked it up real quick. I'm going to check that out because I like that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's a really good documentary.
What was it on Netflix?
It's on Hulu.
Yeah, I will definitely check that out because more than anything, I like the fucking music.
Yeah. And there's a lot of music in it. At one point they ask Red Fox, Red Fox is just a really quick thing when they're talking about the moon landing and the difference in the cultural perspective of the moon landing. And the reporter asks Red Fox and he goes, the moon landing, I look at it like this. And he just looks up like he's looking at the moon.
So
Mom's Mabley said, I was going to go with him, but I went as far as Baltimore and I got off.
Yeah. So it's hard to even respond to that shit because it feels like we would have handled that differently. I would hope we would have handled that differently. Am I too dark?
No, but I was.
I hope in our time we would have handled it differently. I
believe we would have. Yeah, because it's a different, especially musically, it's a different thing. But there's a reporter that they interviewed And she was like one of the first two Black people to be let into whatever college. I can't think of which college it was, but they interviewed some white people about that. And there was one woman who said, well, I mean, it's fine as long as they don't let her into the dormitories. And they did let her into the dormitories, but they put her on the first floor by herself. And then all of the white women were on the second floor. And because they knew where her room was, they would stomp and bang on the floor to disturb her.
It's
absurd.
The original Karens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know that I grew up in a good portion in a city,
Mm-hmm.
like in a real in a city where it wasn't just white people. So the exposure to all that shit was there.
Yeah.
Not music in Harlem, but man, half the kids in my class were Black kids or Puerto Rican kids or both. So it was just there.
I mean, I grew up in a town that, I grew up in Ithaca, New York, where Cornell University is. So there were people from every culture in the world in my school.
Yeah.
Never heard anything about the Harlem Cultural Festival.
No, I would not have heard, but I did hear, like, I did hear music from Black art. I knew fucking who Sammy Davis Jr. was on the radio, and we used to listen to it when I was a kid in WORC in Worcester, Mass, and WTAG, and we listened to Gladys Knight and fucking just Barry White and fucking just all of these artists were there. This music was there, so you couldn't have survived in that community as a radio station without playing those artists.
Yeah.
You would be gone.
Yeah.
So maybe the problem is the makeup of communities. They're and these stations cater to the larger portion instead of the entire. And we've had these conversations a billion times.
Yeah.
Radio only responds or only caters to the people who pay money and do it that way. But I was exposed. So part of my eye views this stuff in not the country kind of way. Listen, I live in a white community now, in a mostly white community. And it's, I just look at it differently sometimes because I've seen the other side too, where I've lived in a community where, hey, listen, I used to get beat up because I was a white guy, a white kid, not a guy, but not everybody, not all the time. There were kids who had, like, there were white kids who had problems with Black kids. There were Black kids who had problems with white kids. So you were always in fucking tussles. And sometimes it would be you and my best mate's guy. And this is not a lie. My best friend's name when I was in 4th, 5th, 6th grade was Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown was a Black guy. And him and I would get in fights with white kids and Black kids all the time. Because I was kind of tough back then, because you had to be in the city. But always, it was never race. It was never about race, but you would fight about fucking baseball and sports and that kind of shit. Now I think fucking people, they spend so much time on this other shit. It drives me nuts. It really does drive me nuts when people say things like, it drives me no more nuts, Jess, than if someone said we don't need Black people on, we don't need 60-year-old Black guys on the radio. That would fucking drive me nuts too.
Sure.
It's not what he said though. He said the other thing. We don't need white people. Fuck, we need everybody. And it drives me fucking nuts. And I grasp.
I think saying we don't need just 60-year-old white men is kind of the same as saying we need everybody.
Well, no, I think what he could say is we want to include everybody. We want everybody. We want everybody. So everybody who represents our community, and 60-year-old white guys represent the community too.
He didn't, but he said just 60-year-old white guys.
Yeah, we don't want just 60-year-old white
Meaning
guys. So
he's not excluding 60-year-old white guys. He wants more than 60-year-old white guys.
They are excluding 60-year-old white guys. They go out of their way to do it. That is generally the code, right? Like there are codes for saying we don't want Black people, we don't want gay people. There are codes people use to say things. When you say we don't just want, it means we avoid them. There are ways people say shit that we know that you don't want to have women on the staff. You know that there's way they put stuff is to not get into trouble or not to draw attention to themselves. to say, well, we're meeting our obligation. We represent our community.
The interview that it was an interview that you read?
Yeah, it was just a blurb.
So
out
is
of a
it
newspaper.
possible at all that the man's words were taken out of context in any way?
Oh yeah, I could have taken them out of context. Of course there are.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because whenever you read something somebody's written, they're
because the number of times I've been quoted in interviews where they took what I said out of context and then it didn't make sense the way
especially
that
if you're not in the room, because
I
most
meant
of
it.
these interviews now are done over a phone or something. There's very little stuff done in person, right?
Yeah.
So like we say a lot of the times, it could have been texting back and forth. So
Yeah.
you have no fucking idea what this guy is saying or how he's saying or
Yeah,
what
you
his
can tell some
intonation is.
interviews are actually done by email and the person like
Yeah.
and you may not know until you see a comma LOL. And then
Right.
it's like, I'm sorry, that person did not say LOL.
Yeah, it becomes so you don't hear intonation
Right.
and all of those things.
Right.
So I'll go back and look at this interview and I'll read beyond that paragraph and see what I see. But these fucking guys.
Okay.
What did Chris say now?
Nothing. He's still stuck on gay Georgia.
Look at him. Now I have to look up and see what gay Georgia
Chris,
is.
change the subject, please.
Hey, Chris, did you see how many people live in gay Georgia?
Not many.
110 people in 2020.
Uh-huh.
That is a small little fucking town.
That's just gay.
And it says on the water tower, town of gay.
As for the census 2000,
that makes me very happy.
And look at in 2000 there were 149 people. The population decreased to 110 in 2020. The town has been in existence since 1886. Oh, it's named after a guy named William Gay.
And it used to be called Sasserville.
Ooh.
That's Satherville.
We're so sassy, we're going to call ourselves gay.
My.
But, all right. I'm sorry I got off on a tangent, but God damn it.
Wow, you got off on that? Jesus Christ.
Sometimes it just fucking you know where I live in this stuff that I just think that we have to stop making everybody out as something that they're, I don't know. Forget it. Just because I look at you, Jess, and I see Jess. That's all I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see Chris and I see that picture he puts up there every week. That's all I see. I don't think about anything else about people other than what they represent as themselves.
Mm.
And fucking so often it's just these creations. Even I do it. I fucking do it all the time. And I wish I didn't do it. It makes me I told you this was going to end worse than it began.
You weren't lying about that.
Yeah. So
would this be a bad time to ask for ratings and reviews?
Did we get a rating?
Oh no, I think this would be a great time. I think that a lot of people would have sat through that muck and mire.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. Though I did see, I got a little note saying 12 people looked at your website today.
No.
No, try again.
12 people looked at the Facebook post.
Oh, is that what it was? The post? What post?
That's what it was.
I don't know. Probably the little promo video for the last episode.
I don't know. I saw something. I was like, wow, 12 people looked at it.
But
Wait a
how
minute,
about
promo videos?
How about that email we got about us being a breath of fresh air?
Yeah, no, that.
Why don't you read that for us? Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to find it.
I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Is that the one where they're wanting to help us?
Yeah. So first was that Facebook suggested that we buy an ad for the podcast. And the suggested ad was a screenshot of our Facebook page cover photo, which is that letter that says you guys fucking suck.
You guys fucking suck.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'll get us something.
Yeah. Okay, so this was the email that we got from Anthony at something. Subject line, real quick. Happy New Year, Wally, Jess, and Chris. I was looking over Cheese Wits. Your energy is great. It's a breath of fresh air in the comedy space. We help busy business owners, coaches, and professionals turn their slow growth podcast into a rapidly growing positive ROI within 6 months using our 4-step growth and retention system. If you're looking for new ways to get in front of thousands of new podcast listeners each month, in 2024, guaranteed, with the grunt work taken care of for you and without relying on social media promotions, targeting high-profile guests, or even word of mouth, I feel confident that what we do could work for you. Mind if I show you how?
How much would that cost, do you think?
So hold on, a 4-step process. Step 1, give us money.
Right.
Step 2, give us more money.
Yep.
Step 3, give us more money.
Uh-huh.
Step 4, you won't be able to fucking trace us.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that run out of some South African country?
No, it's run out of some guy who goes through Facebook or Instagram looking for people to get money out of. They're not going to tell you how much it costs unless you reply to the email. And once you reply to the email, they're never going to leave you the fuck alone.
Yeah, you're on that list forever, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, did you reply?
No.
Oh, I thought you didn't send them like a fuck you or something?
No.
How unlike you. Why didn't you send them a fuck you?
Because I don't want him to keep emailing me.
Then fuck you.
So what they're looking for is people who are not savvy and think that what they're doing is absolutely fucking earth cultural changing stuff.
Uh-huh.
That they are putting together something that nobody could possibly duplicate.
Well, and just the fact that what they did was they took what we have in our social media profiles or on our website or wherever it is they found us.
Right.
They took that and said, oh, this podcast is hosted by Wally, Chris, and Jess, and it's listed as a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
They clearly had never listened to our podcast.
No, of course
We're
not.
a breath of fresh air. The first episode is about shitting in a pizza box.
Yeah. Why should they be listening? Nobody else is.
Right?
So, do you think that's AI generated?
No. I think
it's
it's a dude who goes in and does the bare minimum.
In between gaming.
Yeah.
In between gaming sessions.
Probably.
Let's send one off to these fucks.
Yep.
These desperate motherfuckers who don't do anything else in their lives.
Yep.
We have other lives going. You know what? I feel really crappy about my yap earlier. I just feel crappy about it now.
Did
I get angry about that shit?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can commiserate with me. Don't just say yeah.
Should I cut it out of the show?
No, because it's what it. You know what? It's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to cut it out, you absolutely can. But it is what it is.
It's gonna be the last 45 minutes of the show, so
you're absolutely welcome to cut it
episode.
Out. It is. I mean, it fucking drives me nuts. It really does, you guys. It drives me nuts that people fucking keep going in those directions. And I don't care who the fuck they're talking about. Who they're talking about. Fucking redheads with green cups. I don't care.
Redheads with green cups are the best.
Yeah. What are you drinking? You know, what are you drinking today, Jess? Is it just tea?
No.
Really?
No.
Is it that new fizzy water you got?
No.
In your bad Instacart order?
No.
Is it booze?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What is your preferred booze?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say this is my preferred booze, but I have been on a cocoa and Kahlua kick since
Cocoa and Kahlua?
Since winter.
What do you make, like a hot cup of cocoa and then put Kahlua in it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like a cafe mocha, but in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nice.
Thank you.
Very, 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 very nice. I should drink something too, but I I should have a cocktail. I can't right now though with the grandkids around.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like to cocktail around them. It's
Hide it in a green cup. It'll be fine.
yeah.
Man,
I should. And Chris, what is your alcohol of choice?
I don't drink anymore.
None?
No, ever since I've realized I have that peptic ulcer, I don't chance it. But when there was a time that I would drink,
Gas
cranberry
station
and
wine.
vodka was fun.
Yeah, I like cranberry and vodka, 2 limes.
Gas station wine was fun if the company was right. And
You're welcome.
That would be
um,
Jess.
if I could get myself a nice grape or strawberry margarita frozen, hell yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I
Grape
like the girly
margarita?
drinks. They had a
Never thought-
watermelon margarita at
You know what?
Longhorn or something. It was great.
My favorite is the mango margarita.
I do not think that's a girl. I like flavored drinks far better than I want to have. Give me a scotch on the rocks. I don't find there being anything having to try to be manly by having a scotch on the rocks. I gotta have me some Johnny Walker Black Label.
Yeah,
Or
give me
White
some
Label.
Dewar's.
Yeah, and give me some Dewar's White Label. I don't find fucking any of that. If I'm having a cocktail, I want to enjoy it.
Can
want it to
I
be
tell you a little
tasty.
secret about why I would drink the girly drinks?
Okay. I'm okay. Go ahead, girly drink.
You
boy.
sit at the bar, you're drinking a girly drink. The girls at the bar think, well, you must be a poofter or something, so you're not going to be any sort of a threat. And you wind up going home with one of them.
You sneak up on them.
Basically, yeah, you sneak up and let them know.
You know,
But
Chris, you really
I'm-
should write a book.
So
About
when
what?
I was in college, my modus operandi
Uh-huh.
was not to drink out at mixers and parties because somebody always was going to look for a ride home. And the not drunk guy had a car and could give you a ride home.
There you go.
Hello. The drunk guy that you came with was staying at the party and would wake up in his own puke tomorrow morning. And I would wake up next to you. Fantastic. Yeah.
Same concept.
I was not a huge drinker, but when I would have a drink, I'm with Chris on this. I like the sugary, tasty, goes down easy drink. That
Well,
puts you in
I
a-
like, for me, I like the drink that makes her go down easy. That's number one. But number two, when I was in Vegas, I remember telling the woman at this place, it was called Sugar. Okay. And so you can imagine what the drinks are like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, just surprise me with something fruity. So she brings me something that's almost a screwdriver, but it had cranberry and orange juice in it. And the glass was rimmed all the way around with gummy worms.
Oh,
Nice.
I bet that was
Yeah.
delicious.
Absolutely.
That's the
but-
problem, though, with those sugary, fruity drinks is that a lot of times you can't taste the alcohol in them. And so
That's correct.
kind of dangerous.
That's correct.
That is so the one drink that would get me in trouble would be the Long Island iced tea. When made right,
Oh, good God, dude. I one time in Atlantic City, me and this girl are fucking around playing the slot machines, and they're bringing free drinks to the machines. And we're having Long Island iced tea after Long Island iced tea after I just over and over and over. And we're playing this machine, and we get up from the machine, and she's like, "Is that pretty lady coming back with a lot of those drinks we're drinking?" I'm like, yeah, you just left $300 in that machine. Push the button. Push the button. And we're like holding each other up, getting in the fucking elevator, trying to get back up to the room. And we get in the room, and I'm getting into bed, and she looks at me and she says, do you want to fuck? I'm like, I don't think I do. Okay. And she fell on the floor and went to sleep. Yeah.
I have
Long
a
Island iced
similar
tea is your
story.
friend.
I have a similar story that involves my lovely bride. Early on in our relationship, before we were married, while we were just living together, just living in the sin.
Before you were calling her cold tuna. Go ahead.
Right before when she was a hot piece of ass.
Yeah.
So we get home one night from they'd done a radio thing, and she had a few cocktails. And I, of course, did not have a few cocktails. And she is talking fucking such dirty, fucking sexy smack to me. How many ways she's gonna fucking and how long for. And I mean, she is going on a fucking tangent. And I'm thinking, and she's doing this all the way home in the car. And I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be a fucking good night. Walk in the house. She's a little bit wobbly. Get into the bedroom. And all of a sudden, boom, down, out, gone. But just before she goes out, she's just telling me again the beautiful things, the beautiful night I'm about to. I'm going to fuck you. That's so fucking great. Boom, done. Out. And I went out and watched television, and that's how that night ended. Yeah, alcohol, no, not in my repertoire. But I must admit that the Long Island iced tea can sneak up when I would have a drink before I really knew what it was. It knocked my ass out a couple of times. When made right, you can't even tell you're drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
You just don't even know. It's just like, it tastes like iced tea, like it says. It can be a killer. Other than that, my drink would be, Chris, I like the Cape Cod.
Oh, Cape Cod is good.
Yeah, and I like the standard Tanqueray and tonic. And those are the two my preferred drinks. I used to, for a while there, I used to have the Singapore Sling. You remember that's sort of a fizzy red drink with cherries in it that's very sweet.
That I've never heard of, actually.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever had it, though.
It has a lot of grenadine or something in it. It's kind of a fizzy red drink, but it goes down pretty easy. But again, I'm like a 2-drink guy, and 2 drinks, and I'm feeling buzz. I really can't drink more than a beer and a half without feeling a little bit of a buzz.
I understand.
That's where I am. I do not live in that house of hey, give me a fucking rack and let me go home and sit down on the couch and watch television and drink fucking a 12-pack and still be able to get up and go to work the next day. Not me. Can't do that shit. I think that takes me off the man scale. Maybe I may not be a real man because I can't do that.
I think it may also have something to do with, well, one, the fact that you don't drink often.
And no,
but 2, as you get older, that hangover hits different.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's what I've heard, but I'm not positive. I can't remember the last time I had a hangover.
I can't either, but that's because I tried. I don't drink very often either. And when I do, it's 1 drink and then no more, because that hangover, I'm scared of it. That'll knock me on my ass for 3 days.
Yeah.
So Wally, when we're done with this call, Wally, are you going to be going and shaving your vagina or not? Just curious.
I'm going to nair it. I'm afraid of razors.
Well,
I understand.
We should let you get to that.
Does anybody use nair anymore? Is nair even a thing anymore?
I think so.
Don't you remember nair's for short shorts?
Yeah, nair is for short shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Nair like short shorts.
Nair is
if
still
you dare
a thing.
wear short shorts, nair for short shorts.
Yeah, all those. I'll tell you what, all those fucking wackadoodle things that are made for women that are just
I'm looking at a picture of Nair for men right now.
Shut up.
Really?
Come on. Now I have to look. Jess has to do her goddamn research.
Please hold.
That's nice. Would you also look up a nice depilatory kit for me?
A what?
A depilatory kit.
As opposed to Nair for men?
Yes.
Look, hey, why is this
Nair
too?
for women?
How come everything for men comes in gray and blue?
Because those are manly colors.
Right. Here's some guy.
And it'll be the exact same product as the product for women, but the women's product costs more.
Oh, yeah, of course it will.
And is pink.
And why do you think that is?
Well, Lumi is orange, and it's sitting right here in front of me.
Wally, do you want to get me back on the 60-year-old white man thing? Because I will go there.
No, you go ahead. I've got my things. You've got your things.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Take the heat off me, baby. Take the heat off me and then insert it where mine was.
Hold on.
intercut it in between my two little pieces.
Can somebody tell me why we don't have any black gays on the country station? Please. Can somebody let me know?
Yeah,
Why?
we'll do that research.
I couldn't. I really, Jess, you had mentioned last week. Never mind. I'm getting off it. I'm out.
We got to go.
I'm out. Listen, I'm out. Peace. I'm out.
Happy
I'm gonna
Super
go
Bowl.
watch some football and eat some fucking food and then puke like a Greek and then eat more and puke again like a Greek. No,
That
like a Roman. Sorry.
sounds like a party.
Greek? What the fuck?
No, like a Roman. Like a
puke.
Roman.
Yeah, Wally's gonna puke baklava. Have a good time.
Yeah.
I fucking like some baklava.
Look at you you just got him on another tangent.
I like
Jesus Christ.
baklava. I like spanakota. I like
Christ,
spinach pie.
He's about as coherent as fucking Joe Biden there for a
Right?
second.
But
Good
I'm
God
the one
almighty.
drinking alcohol.
Spanakopita. I
That's
said it.
spanaco-
Spanakopita. I like it.
Spanakopita. That's what I
I was getting it confused with spatchcock chicken.
It's, Hunter Biden one time with spatchcock did
Okay,
the
you guys,
spanakopita and the
we-
baklava.
Jess, spatchcock is a real thing.
We got to go.
And
It's real.
so is his cock. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.